Hi, welcome to another in the Red Couch series. And we have some tea here that's kind of red too as well. I just haven't had breakfast yet this morning. So Carol, I hope you don't mind if I have a sip. My guest
I'm
today,
actually going to join you.
You're going to join me?
Of course.
My guest today is Carol Roberts. I should almost tap the glass and say cheers, but anyhow, I don't want to break them.
No, this is good. This is good though.
Oh yeah, that's very good.
Yeah.
Now I know a little bit about Carol Roberts because
Not looking forward to it.
For the record, I hired Carol Roberts many years ago at a place called CBC.
The 18th of November, 1981.
Yeah. And a few weeks ago, she sent me a text. It was hilarious. What did you say that I told you? I told you that what?
You said to me in your office, me trembling, you rumbling, that it takes 5 years to make a broadcaster. It has nothing to do with talent. Only it has to do with work. And that you had seen a lot of people come through the doors of CBC who were very, very talented, but they didn't apply the work. And so don't be fooled by people calling you and saying how good you are. Put in the work. And in 5 years, I would be a broadcaster. 40 years later, I remember that.
So she sends me a note saying, it's 40 years today since I walked through the door, and I think I have now, I hope I've now reached this stage to be recognized as a broadcaster.
I've been trying for 40 years.
I want to go back to your schooling and tell us a little bit about Carol Roberts, where you went to school, that kind of stuff and so on.
Yeah, I grew up in Mission Gap in Brickensville. A tamarind tree, or as we say, a tamarind tree, separated Punkas, Wendelok's house and ours. And I grew up in a household with mostly women. My grandmother, my mother, 2 aunts, just 1 uncle. And my grandmother was a titan. She used to tell you that she didn't go past 7th standard, but she could read the paper and she could count money. And those 2 things were going to stand her in good stead. So we had to read the newspaper every day. And not just read it, you had to read it and then she would quiz you about it, because she could read. Then we got a television. I'll never forget, in 1972, my aunt migrated to Boston and she gave us her TV set, and she transferred her telephone to our house. So my first telephone number was 2061.
Four digit
Remember they had the 4-digit numbers?
Yeah,
2061.
I can remember mine, 4547.
Yes, and then it was 82061.
Yeah.
And now at the family house it's 428-2061. Yeah. So, and I'm saying all that to say there was no other choice. I had to do well at school.
Where did you go to school?
I went to St. Paul's, had a wonderful set of teachers, and it's always been teachers in my life. And then I passed for foundation, which was a big thing in my household. And then I went to Harrison College in 6th form. I hated that. I say with apology. So I decided I am not, after my first year in 6th form, lower 6, I decided I'm not going back to school. It was too much pressure on my mother. You had to have a certain sort of lunch. And, everybody said, no, what are you going to leave? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And Smith & Oxy Advertising had a vacancy for like a summer intern, and I applied for it. I could always write because I read. I mean, reading is my life. I've always been an avid reader. I still do. I'm sure my Kindle is in my bag somewhere, and I applied for it and I got it. And one day while I was there, I saw a notice on the notice board that y'all were hiring announcers. And I asked, and it was the Friday, and the deadline was the Friday. And Muriel Niles, the receptionist.
Yes.
I said, Muriel, can I apply for this? She said, yes. I give you the paper. She gave me the paper, and I had my pen, and I wrote you a letter. And I wrote out my CV in pen. There were no printers, no typing. I did it, and she said, the box was right there. She said, you go put it in that box. And I dropped it in the box. I went home. And I'm praying because I want to go back to school. And then it wasn't whether I was going to get the job. It was, how are you going to tell me when you're going back to school? Because I haven't told a soul in the house yet. I'm going back to school. I'm just there. So I started. It took a while. On the 11th of November, I walked into CBC and never looked back and never regretted it. Has it been tough? Yes. Have there been challenges? Yes. Have I made missteps? Lots of them. But I wouldn't change it for the world. There is nothing like sitting before a microphone and knowing that you're connecting with people. There's nothing like having on headsets and hearing your voice in your ear, and it is calibrated so that you can hear it warm. And, there is nothing like it. Well, there are a few things like it, but. And in those days, it wasn't a big man being a shout out to girl like Syrupy Carol. No. It was, we will now play Lambs Gambling in the Meadow by Chopin. Performed by the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. And I always ask people, but what's going to make it different? So for example, we just did the Republic event. And I had thought about what that event would be from last year when the Prime Minister had announced that we were going to a republic.
With firm resolve and in one voice, from this day and forever, declare Barbados a parliamentary republic.
I kept asking myself, what will be the moments that will make people go, I can't use the word here, but what will be those moments that will make people cry because they're so proud to be a Barbadian? What will be those moments that will make us look world class? And once you answer those three questions properly, that's your production. And you taught me that.
Part of me wished I was there in the audience physically. But I want to say, first of all, and I'm talking about your performance as a broadcaster. Now, of course, I was envious because that's a moment I would have wanted to be the MC at that event.
But listen,
I must tell you.
But I'll have to interrupt you. I thought of you.
Yes, you did?
I actually messaged Julian Rogers. It's in my phone and asked him, are you going to be in Barbados? And then I say to the world, I said, it's mine.
It's mine.
It's mine.
You know what blew me away was the midnight, how your countdown went, and it segued straight into a slight pregnant pause.
Then
the clock chimed midnight, and I was like,
well, let
yes,
me tell you.
This is world class.
Let me tell you. So we had practiced it, and the military, down to a second. And so we had President-elect must get there at 11:52 because the Chief Justice said we cannot go past midnight. When you see 12:00, we must declare Barbados a republic. So you work backwards. So I know that at 12:00, the word coming out of my mouth has to be republic.
Carol Roberts,
Thank
CEO
you so
of the
much
National
for having
Cultural
me.
Foundation.
It's been a blast.
It has been a blast. Thank you very much, and we have to find a way to make sure that we get that desire to be before the microphone from time to time.
Yeah.
We have to address that.
Help me,
Yeah.
please. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Carol Roberts on the Red Couch.